Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Sefsid Ali Maloufi. I'm from the University of Wollongong in Dubai. So this work was conducted with my co-author and supervisor, which is Professor Manoj Kumar. So today I'll present to you our study, which we talked about 5G and how we could forecast actually the ENDC accessibility KPIs. So the central question here is whether a compact hybrid quantum classical model can improve forecasting compared with the strong CNN LSTM baseline. So mobile networks continuously generate KPIs describing accessibility and performance. Conventional assurance is largely reactive. Engineers investigate after degradation appears. But here we have a useful 1-hour forecast can provide an earlier operational signal. The challenge is that these series are noisy, nonlinear, and temporally dependent. So the comparison must be realistic and leakage-free. We compare two approaches under the same chronological protocol. The first is a target-specific classical CNN LSTM. However, the second is a hybrid model that adds a 4-qubit variational quantum circuit. We do not assume a universal quantum advantage. We ask whether the effect changes between the LTE anchor and the 5G NR target. The study addresses three gaps: limited evaluation on operational telecom data, limited fair comparison against a strong classical baseline, and limited group-level statistical evidence. So we aggregate metrics alone can hide whether a result is consistent across individual sites, cell groups. Then we just made 4 pipelines where we will talk about, in the first place, about sanitized operational experts. Then we clean and align the data, engineer lag and calendar features, and construct supervised sequences. So both models use the same MSE objective: Adam optimizer, learning rate, schedule, and early stopping. Evaluations uses MAE, RMSE, and R² in raw percentage units. So the LTE is also tested pairwise across 30 groups of data. Just a moment. And then we will talk about the dataset. So the dataset, we got it directly in a partnership with Ericsson. So each hourly node is identified by site and RL cell. We predict 2 accessibility targets: the LTE ENB anchor and the NR non-radio GNB 5G data. Inputs include lags at 1, 24, and 168 hours, calendar feature, and encoded site and cell identities. So the final input has 48 feature per time step. Then 48-hour input window predicts the following hour. Timestamp order is preserved and divided into 80% training, 10% validation, and 10% testing. There is no random shuffling. Hyperparameters are chosen only on validation data, and the test partitions is used once for final reporting. Let's talk about the baseline model. So the classical benchmark uses 2 causal one-dimensional convolution layers to extract local temporal patterns, followed by max pooling and an LSTM with hidden width 64. A dense regression head produces the prediction. So the LTE and NR use target-specific output scaling because their distributions differ. Then let's move to the hybrid. So the hybrid preserves the CNN and LSTM encoder. The 64-dimensional LSTM state is projected to 4 bounded values, as you can see here, and angle encoded into a 4-qubit variational circuit with 2 strongly entangling layers. So this is the novelty here. The poly-Z expectation feed a classical joint output head. The circuit is simulated with penny lane on classical hardware, so we claim an architectural comparison, not just physical quantum speedup. Let's move to the results. So as a result, so we got these are the central results for the LTE, the classical model. So we got a stronger RMSE with 0.285 versus 0.316, and R² is 0.368 versus 0.173. For the NR, so which is the non-radio 5G data, this is the most important part for us. So the hybrid reduces RMSE from the 0.661 to 0.611. A relative rejections about 7.6%, and then we have a raise in the R², as you can see here. So it's around, let's say, 4.7%. And the NRMAE isn't that important, so we got a slightly worse NR, but it didn't affect any result in our dataset. So this is a target-specific result, not a universal quantum win, as we talked earlier. Let's talk about the difference and then let's move to the questions. So the LTE advantage is also statistically consistent across 30 sites, cell group, the mean hybrid minus baseline RMSE difference is positive, let's say at 3%, so 0.03, with a t-static of 13.22 and the p-value below 10 to the power of minus 10. So operationally, the classical design fits the narrow LTE series better. That's why we made the comparison. And then we got while the hybrid representation reduces larger NR errors, but does not improve every metric. So the conclusion is deliberately balanced. CNN LSTM remains stronger for LTE, where we have not narrow data, but the hybrid improves NR RMSE and explain variance, but not the NR MAE, when we have narrow data in the 5G quantum model. So thank you for listening, and thank you for all being here. So I'm just ready actually to answer all of your questions.
Your hybrid quantum system is giving better performance in modulation 5G also. So, but what is the first what is the computational load?
So we use the quantum layer here in order to improve the results within the 5G data, because the 5G data here was too narrow. Like we got some data from just 99.5 to 99.8. We tried to use the normalization, but the CNN LSTM model really proved a very poor point. So we had to implement a new metric or a new method, which was the quantum layer between the CNN and the LSTM layer, and that we got like very improved results with more directional accuracy.
Questions from the audience?
Excuse me, I couldn't hear you.
I was asking if there is any questions from the audience.
I apologize, doctor. I couldn't hear you.
Wind up your presentation. Thank you.
I can stop the presentation. All right. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you for your time.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Next, paper ID 604.